Hi, and welcome to Studio SN. My name is Sara Naumann, and today we're going to combine distress inks and our embossing folders for a cool textured background technique. You can see the embossed design on my card here. It's my card background, but it's also the focal of my card. And if you could run your hand over this dandelion, you would be able to feel that it's embossed or it's raised. Now, this has been done with an embossing folder, and then the color has been added with distress inks. Really easy technique to do. So let me show you what you'll need to get started. First, of course, you will need an embossing folder, and I'm using the Dandelion. This is from hot off the press. And then you'll also need some distress inks, and I'm working with Salty Ocean and Mowed Lawn in these two cute kind of miniature size ink pads. They're really just cute and irresistible. The pads measure about an inch square, so it's also a really nice size to be able to get in and do a little bit of detail work on something. So I need those, and I also need my mister bottle of water. And so what I'm going to do, before I get my embossing plate all inked up, I do want to just make a quick point here. Your embossing folders have two sides, so you have kind of the positive and the negative. This side over here is the embossed area. So when I rub my hand over this, it's raised. This side is the debossed side. So this is the innie, if you will, and this is the outie. Maybe that makes a little bit more sense, or is easier to remember. We're going to work with the debossed side here. And the first thing I'm going to do is mist my embossing folder, just this side, really lightly from a couple of inches away. Just give a quick spritz. And then I'm going to apply my inks. And I'm going to start with Salty Ocean first. And here's where you can see how nice those little square sizes can be for getting in here. And I'm just applying my ink directly onto my embossing folder. Just pressing it on here. It's moving really nicely with the water that's on here. And I'm just going to leave this area out here open. The next thing I'm going to do is apply my Mowed Lawn to the embossing folder as well. But I don't want to press my Mowed Lawn into my Salty Ocean, because then I can get blue in my green and get some yucky kind of contamination on my ink pad. So I'm going to press this onto my craft sheet, or you could use a plastic palette or something. And I'm going to use this really grubby, dirty cosmetic wedge. It doesn't matter if it's grubby and dirty because I used it with the green before. So I'm taking this green from my craft sheet and I'm just pouncing it on. As I apply that, I'm pouncing all over my embossing plate. Got a little stray bit on there. And this just creates a bit of a halo effect. It mixes the blues and the greens, and it helps to blend everything so I don't have little square marks on there. Okay, so I'm just pressing this in, and then what I'll do is swipe this up before I put my hand into it. Then I'm going to put my paper inside. Now, the paper that I'm working with is a cardstock, and it's an off-white cardstock. It has a little bit of a texture to it, so you'll get a different effect, of course, depending on the type of paper cardstock you use. So I'm just going to nest this in here and press this down, and then I need to send this through my embossing machine. So you can see on the other side, this is what it's going to look like. Now, I used my Cuttlebug for this, and I'm not going to show you the whole process, but I think you probably know you can use a Cuttlebug or whatever die cut machine you have. So of course, plate A is going to go down, and then plate B, and then my embossing plate, and then plate B on top. And then I just send the whole thing through my Cuttlebug or whatever machine I'm using. I'm not going to show it to you on camera because it makes the table wiggle, and the camera is mounted to the table. So you would probably feel like you're in an earthquake. Everything would be wiggling. So I'll spare you that. But we'll pretend that I put that through my Cuttlebug, and you will get something that looks like this. Now, with this one, I didn't use quite as much water to begin with, so I have a darker effect. With this one, I used a lot of water, so you can see it's much paler. You'll notice with both of these, the center part of the dandelion is inky. So if I wanted to get an effect like this, where this area is not inked, then before I put my paper in, I just clean off that part of the embossing plate. So you can do that as well. Super easy technique to do. Now let me bring back in my original card and we can talk a little bit about what I've done with this. So you can see the green on here and the blue. I did stamp top and bottom with some script. If you can see that, it's very faint because I stamped it with the Salty Ocean to keep a tone-on-tone effect. The stamps that I used are the Eclectica line, and this is one that I designed for Paper Artsy, ESN01. And I use this German text on here for the top and the bottom of my card. So I've got one going one way and one going another way. The Ex Libris is this little guy down here, and you'll notice the actual stamp has a border that goes with it, and I just cut that part off. Now back here on my card front, I've also stamped, and this is the word art, and it's got some text behind it too. And you'll notice up here, you don't see very much of it, but it's the word art surrounded by lots of little words. So I really wanted to make sure that I got Sweet Reverie Bloom showing up on here. It's a very subtle touch, but I thought it was also kind of nice too. So you can probably just barely see that here. And then I just have a little knotted piece of blue grosgrain ribbon, and that is just cut out and glued onto the card front. So this is how to create a distress inked embossed background. I really hope you enjoyed today's show. For more ideas and inspiration, I hope you stop by my website at saranaumann.com. Thank you for joining me on Studio SN, and I will see you again next time.